You decide which players play in which city?
Well, I think it's really a combination of what the players want to play as far as how much tennis they want to play and what their schedules are. Obviously you want to put these guys in a position to succeed every time they play and have enough rest, and it's been pretty good so far. We've got pretty even distribution. Pete's playing 7 of these tournaments. Andre's playing 7. Johnny Mack is playing 6. I'm the sucker in the group, playing all 12.
Was there ever a thought about renewing the rivalry between McEnroe and Connors or Borg and having them play a lot of matches
Well,
together?
Mack and Borg are scheduled to play 3 times in our next 3 tournaments after this weekend, so Chicago, St. Louis, and Buffalo. Absolutely. Rivalries are what drive the sport, and if we can create more of that like tonight, there's probably I'll have something to say about this, but there's a good chance that Pete and Andre could meet again in this one, and certainly Pete and I have had a pretty nice run along the way, and it's kind of fun to put the 4 of us back together because we were Davis Cup winning team in 1992 together. So to have the 4 of us playing in an event like this, I think it's special for me as a from a personal standpoint, and it probably is for a lot of tennis fans too.
What do you think about introducing yourselves to a possible new generation of fans here?
Well, I think that's a lot of what we do on the Champion Series. Through events like this one, we'll see people who followed us throughout our careers coming and introducing their children to the sport through their heroes. And you've got a lot of kids. If you look around this evening, I think you'll see a lot of families in the house.
What changes in this series do you think have been most effective as you go?
Well, I think that shifting from the multi-day format in a city to a one-night format in a condensed tournament where in 3 hours we can take the 4 players that are playing here tonight and have 2 semifinal matches and a championship match all within a 3-hour window. It really works for the players to be able to get to more cities and get to more fans. And it works for the fans to know exactly what they're coming out to see. They know they're going to see the 4 of us play. They know they're going to see us play some good tennis and play hard. But everyone in their personal lives, not the players, but people out there, that the fans, they're overscheduled in their lives too, and this makes it easy for them. If they want to come see a good night of tennis, it's right here on a platter for them.
Why do you think this series is just so important to have with the legends, I suppose?
Well, I think it's important for the icons of the sport. Andre, Pete, and McEnroe certainly qualify for that. They're up on Mount Everest in tennis in this country and around the world. For them to remain attached to the sport, I think, is important for tennis. It just helps bring more people into the game, like we'll see with the families and the generations coming to watch. And I think that the Champions Series serves a nice service for tennis in the United States when after the U.S. Open there's a peak of interest, and then the ATP and WTA tours go overseas. We're another platform for people to get excited about the sport here on the heels of the U.S. Open.
All right, and speaking of the excitement about the sport, it's just talking about the men. We haven't seen the men as a whole doing well for a long time. The
American men. Well, it's all relative. This group of players playing here tonight set a pretty high standard, and I think our fans have come to expect that, and they're spoiled by having just generations of players from Arthur Ashe and Stan Smith all the way through to the players in this tournament tonight with Mac and Andre and Pete and myself, who won multiple majors. And we have Andy Roddick, who's been an incredibly consistent player, won a major, been #1 in the world, won Davis Cup. It's not enough for a lot of people in this country, and that's too bad because he's had a tremendous career thus far. Been in the top 10 for the last 9 years. Only he and Federer have done that. But that's not enough for our fans, I guess. We've got other players like Marty Fish who are in the top 10 having a resurgence. But our fans are spoiled, and they expect a certain level of greatness, and they haven't quite had what they're used to in recent years. But that shouldn't be any knock on our players. They should be given credit for maximizing their careers and doing what they're doing. It's just an awfully high bar for comparison's sake.
Who's the next young American that you feel will take the mantle, let's say?
Well, we all had great hopes for Donald Young Jr., and he's finally fulfilling some of that promise. He's in the top 50 now, and I'm hoping that his confidence will keep growing and he'll get up there and keep achieving. 2 younger players that we're looking at with great physical tools that are still raw players are Ryan Harrison and Jack Sock. Ryan is in the top 100 now. Jack is just getting started in his career. But I think those guys have a lot of the physical capabilities. You just don't know how they're going to develop. But I'm pretty confident that they're going to give a great effort, and we'll see how far they can go.
What do you think about this? The talk from some of the top players regarding the conditions, ATP, strike talk or union or whatever.
Players have been talking, male and female, about the length of the calendar of the tennis season since Open tennis began. So we're talking about an old problem, not a new one. There's a unique opportunity now for the men players, I think, to get behind a movement and really force the incoming CEO for the ATP, because they're going to have new leadership here at the beginning of the year, force whoever that person is to really take a hard look and try and make some changes. But they'll have to get together. You know, it's a problem when the top players have one agenda and the rest of the players have another. It's difficult to get everyone really behind it, but the top players are the ones that can make the change.
Okay.
All right.
You.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, everyone. Right. Over here in just a second.
Okay.